Welcome to the TrueRotarian Podcast. This podcast is specially designed for all the true Rotarians by a true Rotarian. There is another factor which people keep talking about, which is the stress. What happens inside the body during the stress, and how does chronic stress push up to a deadly disease?
All disease processes, they begin from the same basic causes, right? Which is stress.
Can you tell the 5 simple, powerful takeaways for our viewers that we can start even today?
So eat real food, respect sleep and sunlight, go out into the sun, exercise, move your body. Your mitochondria needs that, right, for energy production. Manage your stress properly and test, don't guess.
Welcome to True Rotarian Podcast, a podcast where we talk about stories of change, stories to build a strong community, and which will ultimately result in making a strong Bharat. Today's topic is going to be very special, a conversation with one of our very dear friend. And this conversation is going to be about the effects that every single one, no matter what age group, what lifestyle, or what profession we are in, it affects us all. Let's talk about mental health. We talk about stress. We talk about lifestyle disease. But there is something deeper happening inside our bodies. It's a silent epidemic, which experts call it a metabolic chaos. To help understand this better, I'm joined with a very dear friend and India's one of the most respected physicians in the country, Dr. Yuvraj. Welcome to the show.
Thank you, Ahmed.
Yuvraj, how are you doing?
Great.
Ladies and gentlemen, Dr. Yuvraj has done his MD in internal medicine and critical care. He's a fellow of American Academy of Anti-Aging and Regenerative Medicines in USA, a former HOD in multiple renowned hospitals. He's also a founder of Viara Wellness Center. Dr. Saab, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
And I hope you have seen our True Rotarian
Yes,
podcast.
absolutely. I follow each one, yes.
You follow it?
Yeah,
What do you have to say about that?
They're great, good topics, and you have great guests on. So it helps a lot, when people watch. It gives out a good number of messages. Yeah. So
Wow. Now, should we start straight with the subject, which is what exactly is metabolic chaos? And how can you explain this to our viewers in a very simple language?
So basically, see, the body is a very, very complex structure. There's immense number of complexities inside. So I'll simplify this for the viewers. So let's say people wake up tired even after 8 hours of sleep. They're tired and fatigued throughout the day, even with minimal to no activity. Sometimes they're hungry, but they can't eat properly. And sometimes they have food cravings even after a full meal. They have brain fog, they're low throughout the day, low in energy, they're depressed, there's low libido, sex drive. So basically, metabolic chaos feels like this. And it's like a phone that never charges to 100%, So nowadays, every single person that we meet or people that come to us, they're all facing a series of events wherein, it starts with one bad habit, one late night, and maybe one stress spike that accumulates every single day. And over many years, this leads to unresisted breakdowns inside the body. And let me tell the viewers one thing, these are not just symptoms. These are factors that greatly affect quality of life. They affect relationships also, mind you. And I've seen families break down. This is a huge economic burden because people are running from pillar to post and they don't know what to do. There's so many tests being done, medicines being prescribed, many of them which they don't need. And yet they're in the same place where they started. So, and it's a mental burden at the end of the day because they're apprehensive and anxious about their well-being, but they're misguided most often. So,
That means when people say that I'm not up to it, I feel tired, I didn't feel like getting up in the morning,
right.
That means something is not right in the metabolic.
Absolutely. And these are signs or symptoms that should not be ignored. They should, people, they wait for something to happen. So they should not ignore these symptoms because by the time disease shows up, it's too late. And then we just have to fix what has already happened.
So what you're saying is disease doesn't become when the reports come in.
Right.
Disease starts much before that.
Absolutely.
When you start thinking that something is not right, I don't feel like going out. I don't feel like sort of getting up in the morning, or I'm feeling very tired. That means listen to your body.
Absolutely.
Go to your doctor and talk to him.
Your body is knocking and it's telling you something is wrong before it starts screaming later on,
Wow.
So,
So under the circumstances, what does one do? Rush to a doctor and explain to him what is wrong with him or her?
see, generally that's what happens. People here, and specifically in India, people come to the doctors, they have these symptoms, and these are very common symptoms, although they are vague. Something like weakness or tiredness, fatigue. There are multiple causes for fatigue and tiredness. It could be so many factors, ranging from thyroid to so many other things. They don't know which doctor to go to, so they end up with, say, an internal medicine specialist. They're not able to figure out. They go to specialists, and specialists, they tune everything to those specific organ systems. At the end of the day, the patient is left feeling the same way that he started. So they're confused. A lot of people don't know what is actually going on. So this is now a breakthrough science, which is it's come in right now, and we deal with these people in a different manner rather than what conventional medicine was doing so far.
Oh, that's very good to know. That means what used to do is, why if one is feeling tired, okay, I'll take a rest, maybe, go to a gym or go get a massage done.
Right.
And you feel better. These are all these psychological sort of things or the excuses
Right.
to ignore what is there. The best thing is to go to the doctor, talk to him or her, saying that this is what my problem is. Am I right in my thinking?
Absolutely, yes. Because people tend to prolong these things for too long till it actually breaks down and crashes.
So till now we have gathered, if you're not feeling up to it, if you're feeling tired, if you
Get yourself checked. Yes.
get yourself checked, go to your doctor,
in the
talk
right
to
way.
him.
In the right way, in a thorough manner.
Wow. So what are the earliest symptoms that people usually ignore? Fatigue, brain fog, mood swings, and weight issues.
See, the symptoms are many. So for all the people that are listening, because there's a wide range of symptoms, and you could have any one of these. It's not necessary that people will have all of these. They could have just one of them, and it would be a very vague symptom, and they tend to ignore that. Or many times doctors aren't able to, find out what exactly is happening. So it can range from fatigue, tiredness. So there's a long list. I'm going to enumerate all of them right now.
Yeah, go ahead, please.
So there's fatigue, tiredness, weakness, lethargy. There's anxiety, palpitations, restlessness, mood swings, irritability, depression, lack of focus, concentration. There's sleep disturbances. Sometimes people, they have food cravings, then they go on to unmindful eating. They'll just eat any time of day and keep eating. And there's weight gain. And many people come to me and they say that we have a very low caloric intake, yet there's weight gain. Why is that? So that's a very important factor that needs to be checked thoroughly.
What could be the reason? Let me stop you here, because weight gain is something which affects everybody, right?
Absolutely.
So if the person is eating normally and still he or she is putting on weight, what could be the reason?
So basically, there are certain set principles inside the body in terms of the metabolic pathways and chemical reactions that take place. So what happens is there are a lot of factors actually. It's got to do with how the liver metabolizes everything, how the gut processes everything, how the detoxification of certain metabolites happens inside the body, how the excretion happens through the kidney. So there are a lot of factors there. So whenever somebody is eating or eating less, and it's kind of they're putting on weight. So there's definitely a hormonal imbalance somewhere. Your immune system is not acting the way it should be. So these are factors that need to be looked into.
Oh, okay.
Right.
Jesus Christ, you really are scaring everybody.
I'm not scaring everybody. I just want people to be aware of these situations because this, over a period of time, can lead to serious consequences. So they should look at these early on.
Generally people think it is normal, to get tired. It's normal to get little low.
Right.
But one should take it seriously
No,
after
absolutely.
listening to you because this is going to affect our health.
See, on a day-to-day basis, say you're doing a strenuous exercise or something, you're bound to get tired after that. You've gone for a run or a long walk, you're bound to get tired. There's dehydration and other factors. But and you have to pay attention to your recovery. Because if the recovery is happening in good time, you know that your body is functioning properly. But if that recovery is not happening or, there's prolonged states of tiredness, then you got to think about,
Now, there is another factor which people keep talking about, which is the stress. What happens inside the body during the stress, and how does chronic stress push up to a deadly disease?
So, generally, I'll simplify this for everybody. All disease processes, they begin from the same basic causes, right? Which is stress. Now, the body is designed in a way to be able to gauge and preserve or protect itself from external influences or anything that is harmful, right? Either within the body or from the outside. Now, we have to consider the body as a whole. It cannot be individualized into systems. Like, say, the brain, a neurologist is looking after that, or a cardiologist. So everything is connected. It's a whole metabolic web. So all the organs inside the body, they are in communication with each other. And what helps them communicate are two things which can be divided into the hormonal interplay and the immune system.
Okay.
So the hormones and the immune system, this is what basically links everything inside the body together. So, and there are millions of chemical reactions that are happening at a given point in time. It's like, there's a gush of water flowing down a hill. So once a reaction starts, it's like a cascade. It has to reach the bottom or it has to reach a place of equilibrium. So any breakdown or anything in the middle, in either of these steps, there's going to be chaos. The signals go out wrong, proteins are synthesized wrongly, all the organs, they start behaving differently.
Wow.
So what happens is generally whenever there's any kind of stress, be it physical, psychological, environmental, or even dietary, whatever you're taking inside, the body lets out a stress response. Now this stress response, the first thing that happens is there's a surge of this hormone called cortisol.
Cortisol, yeah.
Cortisol. So cortisol is the stress hormone, and it is the body's own innate steroid. So you know how powerful steroids are.
Yeah.
Like whenever somebody falls ill, there's infections and other things, and they're not being managed properly, so doctors pump steroids. So what steroids do is they blunt the immune response. They blunt it. So people feel good, people feel great, symptoms abate. But it's like a double-edged sword. It is absolutely necessary for survival, yet at the same time it causes damage on the other hand, right? So what happens is, we are going to understand this in terms of the axis, the neuroendocrinal axis. It's like the brain, the three parts in the brain: hippocampus, hypothalamus, pituitary, and then the adrenal glands, which are situated on top of the kidneys. So the hippocampus is what senses any danger or stressful stimuli.
Okay.
Right? And then through a positive feedback loop, signaling one after the other, it causes this cortisol surge from the adrenals. Right? So when cortisol goes up, all the immune responses are blunted. You're ready to fight or flight. This is called the flight and fight mode. So all other hormones, cortisol causes other hormones to come into play, like adrenaline. You're adrenalized, you're charged, you know. And so now imagine this cortisol which goes up, it immediately protects you, but at the same time, it causes a ton of metabolic imbalances.
Oh.
It causes your sugars to fluctuate, can cause insulin resistance. It can cause all hormones to go either way, you know, it blunts all responses. Now what happens is over a period of time, if this happens every single day, if somebody is, you know, sleeping late all the time or eating wrong or, you know, have bad habits or whatever, every single day this kind of accumulates and then the whole body is bathing in cortisol, all metabolic responses are blunted. And then the brain, in order to protect itself, it starts shutting down the cortisol production.
Oh, okay.
Right? So there's a term called adrenal fatigue. Many people use it wrongly because the adrenals are absolutely fine. They're doing the job fine. It's the brain that shuts it down. Now, once the cortisol level flatlines, this is when the double edge comes in of the sword. The immune system takes over and it comes back with a vengeance. There's a lot of inflammation happening inside the body, targeting different organs. Wherever the blood is running, it goes to all organs, starts damaging tissue. So if you have tissue damage like this every single day, over a period of time, it will lead to disease. And all disease, be it cardiovascular, neurological, they all start from this simple process.
So stress is a very important part of a life which we should avoid.
Absolutely.
You know, I have learned the art of avoiding stress. You see, anybody who gives me stress, I don't talk to them.
That's
Any
one step
situation
forward,
which causes me stress, I don't go there. Now, for example, if I have to go from Gurgaon to Delhi, I know the traffic time, is a peak time or a lean traffic time. I choose the time when there is no traffic. However, if there is still traffic, to avoid stress, I take a metro.
No, absolutely.
Because this is the art of avoiding stress I have learned over the years.
Completely agree. Scientists are working for you right now. They're developing air taxis. So soon you'll be flying to Delhi.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. In Rotary, we talk about balance, service, family, health, and but the stress affects them all. What do you have to tell the Rotarians?
See, the Rotarians have a great life. You know, it's as far as what I've seen, it's pretty balanced, and they're able to do their work and everything properly and
But still,
immaculately.
there is stress when they have to do the timeline projects.
Right.
And to give it back to the society, some people do take the stress home. In the sense, if the project is not starting on time, or if there's a delay in doing a particular thing, there's a lot of stress involved.
See, like with the body and with, how disease processes occur or everything. So I'm going to first divulge a little, explain about body, and then come back here so it can correlate. So to all the viewers, like people who want to take charge of this thing and how to even to begin to understand what is happening, and because everything gets jumbled, people say this is good, this is bad, they don't know what's happening. So I'll just simplify this to everybody. I've classified this into two groups basically. One is for the viewers. So understand this: there are factors that are absolutely beyond your control. You cannot do anything about them. And then there are factors that you control, right? So the factors beyond our control, unfortunately, are a lot many.
Yes.
Like, your genetic factors, your environmental factors. There are disruptors. Disruptors are basically chemicals. Any chemical that is foreign to your body. Smoking, alcohol, pesticides, food and drink, and everything is now loaded with chemicals. You have these processed foods which are on the shelves. They're loaded with chemicals. There's pollution all over. So then there are metabolic factors, there are immune factors, there are hormonal factors, there are the gut microbiome. These are all beyond your control. What is under your control are just three, and that's very, very basic. Your dietary and lifestyle choices, sleep, and exercise. So I would tell the Rotarians to focus on these three basic points and get adequate sleep at the right time, because the body follows a biological clock. It's called the circadian rhythm. There's a reason why, mammals are meant to sleep at night
Yes.
and stay up during the day or wake up early. So there's a reason for that, because every hormonal secretion has a diurnal variation. It fluctuates with time of day. So this thing needs to be kept in mind. Eat right, eat light, exercise, move your body, because the mitochondria, which is the powerhouse of the cell, which generates energy, it loves movement. It wants the body to move. So just focus on these three things. Time everything correctly. Timing is important.
Is there any technique which you would like to talk to them, which affects their health, and how to take charge of their well-being? Once they discover something, maybe tiredness, maybe not sleeping well, what should be immediately the person should do?
See, first thing, it is very important to even recognize this.
First is to recognize the fact that something is not right.
For that, you need to be aware of what your body is telling you, how it signals. So they need that awareness around them. Most people don't operate out of awareness. They're just, going along. And so first is to recognize these problems, that something is wrong. My body is telling me something. Secondly, try and analyze and see what you're doing wrong or where things are going. Is it your timing, you're sleeping late?
Or identify the cause.
Try and identify the cause as best as you can, in terms of diet, in terms of the timing of your meals or sleep and everything, and whether you're exercising or not. And whether this process of whatever you're feeling inside is a gradual one, is it a sudden one, acute? Try and analyze that, secondly. If you start correcting these things like your meals, your diet, your intake, your portions, your quality of what you're eating and other things, 80 to 90% of the time it'll settle by itself.
Okay.
And with exercise and proper sleep timing and everything. But if you see that, you've done that for a little bit of time and it is going beyond that, that means the disease process is already set in and you need to go and check yourself.
Okay.
So in that case, you should get yourself tested. Don't guess. Test yourself and then proceed further from
The
there.
first step is to recognize the fact that something is not right.
Absolutely.
Second step is to identify the possible cause.
Analyze and identify.
Yeah.
Yes.
And third thing is try and work around to solve that particular situation.
Right.
In line with what exactly is wrong. Like in my case, I walk away from the stressful situations, and then if it is persist, we must go and get ourselves tested.
Right. Absolutely.
Wow. Now, talking about for the test or going to the doctor, is there a way to detect metabolic imbalance
Right.
even when all medical reports are normal?
That happens a lot of times, actually. People come
I
in.
believe so.
Yeah, that happens a lot of times. And I get to hear a lot of varied responses from the people who come in, the patients. And they're like, we went to so-and-so doctor and we went so many places. Every time we get our tests done, the reports are normal. But, even though they're normal, they're not feeling great. They're still unwell. So how does one explain that? And generally what happens in conventional medicine, the doctors, we try to, fit these symptoms into cool sounding terms and diagnoses and everything, So then that becomes a bias for long-term treatment. So suppose I pen down a diagnosis. The next doctor who sees that will be biased toward that particular thing.
Oh.
He'll know that, this is probably a diagnosis coming from the past. So I need to treat in the lines of that or, adjust things around that. Mm-hmm. They don't want to spend time or get to the bottom of things and try to figure out whether that diagnosis does hold up or is it something else. So there's symptom-based treatment rather than root cause evaluation.
Okay.
Right? So there are many tests apart from the routine blood tests and everything that we get done. There's radiology, CT scans, ultrasounds and everything. So there are specific and specialized tests which look into your hormones. There's a whole hormonal assay. Now, when these hormones act, when they've performed their action inside the body, binding to receptors, proteins and everything, they have to be metabolized. So they are broken down by the liver or the gut and then they're excreted in the urine. So we check for metabolites in the urine as well, right? And then there's the saliva. Saliva is a good testing modality. It tells us a lot about hormones, and especially cortisol. Cortisol is best tested in saliva.
Isn't it?
Yeah.
Oh.
And so how we do this is, you have to understand one thing, every individual is different, is made up differently. So there's a genetic makeup. Now we go down to genomics. We first assess the genes and see if there are any mutations or not. Or there's something called single nucleotide polymorphism, SNPs. It's literally like a SNP. Which location is that SNP in?
Oh.
That will tell you what the metabolic cascade is going to be. What chemical reactions may take place or may not take place, how the body is going to metabolize that. So now along this route, what we do is we target those chemical reactions, we tweak those, we make those come right, take the correct metabolic pathway rather than the other alternative one. That's how we fix things inside the body.
Oh, okay. Actually, that was my next question.
Right.
What is your approach in treating metabolic chaos? Is it through diet, lifestyle, root cause medicine, or natural healing? That was my questions.
Absolutely, all of those
yeah,
together. So natural, basically. So how it happens is, now again, like I said, metabolic chaos is basically, it is a disturbed communication between organ systems and chemicals inside the body. The communication is getting lost somewhere.
Oh.
So my first goal is to actually break down things and pinpoint where that communication is breaking down, so that I can fix it at the root, rather than when the disease has already shown itself and then trying to fix that.
Oh, that's
Right?
so wonderful.
Yes. So it entails a lot of things, actually. There's detailed history, thorough detailed history, physical examination, and then I look at the entire metabolic network, from mitochondrial efficiency to energy production to the hormonal status, immune status, inflammation or anti-inflammatory responses, and that's how I take it from there.
So that means your approach is treating a disease to creating a great health.
Absolutely.
Because go to the root cause and,
Right. So my focus is to restore cellular and metabolic and immune balance. And we basically, it's not treating or suppressing or stopping a particular thing like conventional medicine does. It's basically to help and enhance the body to be self-regulatory.
Wow.
So physiological levels are maintained. It's not over-treating or under-treating or anything like that. It basically helps the body generate its own power.
That means your approach is basics.
Absolutely.
Go to the basics, resolve that, move forward.
Yes.
If again there is a problem, just take care of that aspect.
Yeah,
and
so
move forward.
it entails everything from nutrition to sleep physiology, sleep patterns, stress management, to the circadian rhythm alignment, so how we align the circadian rhythm, like throughout the day, the daily routines. And then it goes down to targeted supplementation. So these are very powerful supplements, and they're very specific. They target specific chemical reactions or, catalyst or cofactor positions. And then we go into bioidentical hormone replacement therapy. We basically balance all the hormones so that everything is now in order. And lastly, I go to conventional medicine, which is, if absolutely required.
If required.
Yeah.
A lot of people, especially the elderly, think it is too late to reverse anything. Can seniors also benefit from these modalities?
Actually, they benefit the most.
Let's talk about the seniors.
So seniors generally, they already end up having, so many comorbidities like diabetes, hypertension. There's cognitive decline, there's fatigue, sexual function is declined completely almost in most people. So what we do is, I target to improve cellular energy and all the metabolics. So they start feeling great, they feel stronger, their sleep is improved, and their mental acuity is improved as well.
Wow.
So they kind of benefit from, so see, the basic thing is, I'm not trying to reverse the clock. I'm not trying to make them go back in time or anything like that. It's
not
just
possible.
It is, you have to understand that they should be able to age more intelligently and more energetically, rather than have a steady decline throughout.
So obviously there is a sort of cure for everything that we spoke about elderly people,
Right.
or there is a check, or there is an improvement.
See, there are a lot of studies that have been done, and a lot of them. And especially with this field of medicine that I'm doing, regenerative and metabolic medicine. And over a period of time, all these scientists and all these doctors that I've studied, they have seen changes happen when once you institute these targeted supplementations, hormone therapies. They have seen very, very good changes, and that's what longevity and anti-aging is about. So it's basically to ensure that your normal physiology, like you were in your 30s and 40s, is maintained throughout.
Wow. So, ladies and gentlemen, what we have heard and what we have understood is that it is never too late to start healing your mind, body, and your soul. Dr. Saab, there is one thing I'd like to ask you. Can you tell the 5 simple, powerful takeaways for our viewers that we can start even today?
Absolutely. See, in today's world where everything is so fast-paced, and especially with the advent of electricity, people can stay up all night, and refrigeration is one of them where you can store your foods. So it basically takes away the quality of the food, firstly, and electricity enables you to, your sleep patterns shift. So it's very basic, yet that is the only way to go about things if you want good health and if you want to age gracefully and everything. Eat real food, not processed food, or there's so many chemicals. Your liver does not know how to metabolize these new chemicals. And that is why this thing of fatty liver and, visceral fat, and which is very dangerous. These things are creeping up. Why? Because the liver is working its best to try and metabolize these chemicals. But there's so many new chemicals. So eat real food, respect sleep and sunlight, go out into the sun, exercise, move your body. Your mitochondria needs that, right, for energy production. Manage your stress properly and test, don't guess.
Wow. Thank you so much. I think that was wonderful. There is one thing I think I want you to tell us, or tell our viewers. There's some time ago, before you sort of touched base with Rotary, I believe your wife Divya is a Rotarian,
Yes.
and you are a Lord.
Yes.
Or once upon a time it used to be Lord. Now, of course, we call you as partners of a Rotarian. Now, I understand that many years ago, you used to have regular camps in the mountains
Oh, we still
where
have them,
people cannot go, cars cannot go, motorbikes cannot go, but you take your camp, take your rucksack and your medicines and your tents and your team, and you do some projects there. Can you talk
Right.
about them?
So I generally, right from the start, since even before I was a student, so I would always think about, I always knew that I'm going to study medicine, and then I would see people that, had no access to proper healthcare or, medical facilities and other things. And my schooling was in Sherwood, Nainital, so I was in the hills. So I would see a lot of these people who were secluded from main towns and cities. And every time there was illness, these people, and they were so far away from, major cities or towns or whatever, the nearest healthcare facility, they would either leave the elderly or person there to die, or they would have to have a team of people carry them on their backs, bring them downhill, get a car or a bus or whatever, and then move to the next city, which would sometimes, be 200, 300 kilometers,
Oh my God.
and then get them treated. So it was very cumbersome. So I decided that, rather than these people having to tough it out all the time, so why not take camps there? So when I was going the first time around, so I went to this place in Uttarakhand, which was, so we took off from Dehradun, and there's this place called Network, which was the last motorable road network there.
Okay.
And that was 300 kilometers from Dehradun. So after that, you have to go down the hill for about 3 or 4 kilometers. And then there's a huge raging river, almost 30, 40 feet wide. and there was a cable. So you had to get onto that cable, pull yourself weight or to the other side, and then climb the hill for about another 10 or 12 kilometers. So I started at 6 in the morning, I reached at 7 in the evening.
Oh my God.
And it's at an altitude of almost 9 to 10,000 feet above sea level. Small villages with a population of 100 people, maybe 90 people. And most of them elderly, because the younger lot would leave for work into towns and other things, right? And I didn't know what I was going to encounter, so I filled my bag with everything, including tablets, IV, and everything. Even scalpels for if there's a minor surgery or anything required. I set up tent, and I started visiting each of these houses there, and started looking for if anybody was ill or anything. And then I asked them to come to camp, and I was checking blood pressure and doing the normal routine work. What I discovered was none of them had hypertension there. Not a single person.
Wow.
There was nobody who was diabetic. They're all living in the hills with nature. So that was good. What was prevalent there was tuberculosis.
Oh.
They had TB. They had anemia. The hemoglobin was low in most of them because of the nutrition, food deficiencies, iron and other things.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I found, and I wrote everything down into a charter. So and it was so beautiful and peaceful. I was supposed to be there for just 4 days, and I was running out of medicine, so I wanted to come back. But it was so beautiful that I stayed on for 2 weeks. And
wow.
My family, because there was no networks high up there, so my family thought I was kind of lost. So they were going to send a search party, to look for me.
And here you were doing a project.
Right, absolutely.
Wow.
So then I had to come down finally, and so this is how it happens.
Well, thank you so much for sharing your views. Your insight on metabolic cures and longevity truly show that the health is the foundation of a meaningful life. And meaningful life is what Rotary encourages us all.
Absolutely, yes.
To the viewers, if you like our content, if you like our show, please do like, share and subscribe. And if you got a story to tell or a project to discuss, please feel free to get in touch with us. It will be an honor, pleasure to call you on the show. Thank you so much, and Jai Hind. Thank you, Doctor.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Pleasure.
Thank you.
Pleasure.